Hi, I'm Gabe from Unsolicited Designs, and welcome to Report Cards for Wilds of Eldraine. I'll be reviewing every mythic rare card from the set and giving them each a letter grade for how mythic I believe the design is. The score is based on the power of the card, how unique and exciting the design is, the thematic cohesion of the card, and the range of deck building options it opens up. This is part 3 of the review, and I'll be going over mythics 11 through 15. I hope to earn a like and subscribe from you by the end of the video, and without further ado, let's get on to the review. Now for our first reprint mythic of the set, Craterhoof Behemoth. Wait. For 3 white and 5 generic, you get Moonshaker Cavalry, a 6/6 Spirit Knight creature with flying. When Moonshaker Cavalry enters the battlefield, creatures you control gain flying and get +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the number of creatures you control. Okay, so the obvious comparisons aside, how does this creature actually rate? It's certainly incredibly powerful, and just like Craterhoof Behemoth, it's probably going to close out a lot of games. And it's a pretty great card when it comes to playing into white strength. Lots of token creatures. And I think it's more palatable in this color, since white is less likely to cheat it into play. Or maybe not. I think the most interesting thing this card brings us is the dream of seeing a Craterhoof Behemoth in every color and wondering what exactly that will look like. This is a fine, flavorful design, though not entirely original. Though I do think most players are excited by it, so I won't shake the boat, and I'll give Moonshaker Cavalry a B. And now for our obligatory mythic red dragon of the set. Realm-Scorcher Hellkite costs 2 red and 4 generic. You get a 4/6 dragon creature that says, Bargain. You may sacrifice an artifact, enchantment, or token as you cast this spell. It also has flying and haste, and when Realm-Scorcher Hellkite enters the battlefield, if it was bargained, add 4 mana in any combination of colors. For 1 red and 1 generic, Realm-Scorcher Hellkite deals 1 damage to any target. I've said many times that cheating on mana is one of the most powerful things you can do in the game, and this card essentially does that, but I'm totally hung up on the comparable designs. First of all, Realm-Scorcher Hellkite is nearly identical to Tyrant of Kerr Ridges in most every respect. Sure, Hellkite is repeatable, but you have to pay 8 mana to get as much damage out of it as Tyrant. Worse still is that this ping ability is already on 3 other dragons. 3! And sure, getting mana back is great, but look at these dragons that make treasure. Turn after turn, and even the turn they come into play. I'm not advocating for more treasure producing dragons. My point is, Realm-Scorcher Hellkite looks like nothing but a mashup of dragons past, but this time it just has the set mechanic of bargain on it. This design is so uninspired and earns nothing but a charred, crisp F. Looks like someone woke up and chose violence. For 1 black, 1 red, and 1 generic, you get Rowan, Scion of War, a 4/2 legendary human wizard with menace. And you can tap Rowan, and spells you cast this turn that are black and or red cost X less to cast, where X is the amount of life you've lost this turn. Activate only as a sorcery. This is the 3rd mythic in the set that's offering you a discount on spells or abilities, and it isn't even the last one. And what an incredibly powerful discount it is. Black has no shortage of ways to pay your life for things. There are 2 characteristics you should prioritize when making your selections. They should cost as little as possible, with as few colored mana symbols as possible as well. This will help you generate more mana from Rowan's ability. And perhaps the most important consideration, they need to be usable at instant speed. That's because of the horrific line of text on this card that's a total trap for no reason. Activate only as a sorcery. The reason I feel so strongly about this is because less experienced players are likely to get bamboozled. As an example, you have Rowan in play and start to cast a few life loss effects. As you cast one last spell to set up your Rowan discount, she gets sniped by a removal spell and you get nothing, except that big chunk you took out of your own life total. Maybe the designers intended for this interaction to exist, but their emphasis on avoiding harsh, feel-bad moments for players makes me think otherwise. Rowan's ability absolutely should have just said, activate only during your turn. But if you follow my advice and stick to instant speed effects, you'll be okay. The correct and counterintuitive sequencing is to activate Rowan first. Then, with her ability on the stack, pay life to get the cost reduction. This way, Rowan can't be removed to prevent you from reaping the savings. This is a unique and tantalizing design. It asks you to take some risks, but earns a big reward. I like how it's limited to affecting only red and black spells, but the sorcery speed only clause is a huge oversight in my opinion. Even so, I think Rowan is worthy of an A. Despite its name, there's nothing kind about Talion, the Kindly Lord. For 1 blue, 1 black, and 2 generic, you get a 3/4 legendary fairy noble creature with flying. As Talion, the Kindly Lord enters the battlefield, choose a number between 1 and 10. Whenever an opponent casts a spell with mana value, power, or toughness equal to the chosen number, that player loses 2 life and you draw a card. So why this range of numbers? Why not 0? Why not any number? I suspect it's to try and keep players on the rails and limit their ability to select a useless number. This card doesn't excite me personally, but I do think this design space is worth exploring, and I do wonder how effective it would be in my play group. It may freeze your opponents out, draw you a bunch of cards, or it may do nothing. The design space is definitely unique, but it doesn't really inspire much creative deck building since the trigger relies on your opponents to cast spells. So while he technically doesn't rate too well on my personal rubric, I don't see any point in giving this card a major overhaul since I think it just does what it's supposed to do. So I'll be benevolent and give Talion, Kindly Lord a B. And the last card for today's review is Rowan's twin brother counterpart. For 1 white, 1 blue, and 1 generic, you get Will, Scion of Peace, a 2/4 legendary human wizard with vigilance. Tap, spells you cast this turn that are white and or blue cost X less to cast, where X is the amount of life you gained this turn. Activate only as a sorcery. I like how these twins mirror each other. Their colored mana symbols are ideological opposites, their power and toughness numbers are reversed, their abilities want your life total to move in inverse directions, and vigilance enables Will to be defensive, while menace boosts Rowan's aggressiveness. While they may have many differences, the sorcery speed clause is the same, so the same caveats apply. Activate Will first, and then go crazy with your life gain shenanigans. Of course, there are a decent number of passive, triggered ability sources of life gain, so be careful that they don't give your opponents a chance to respond and take Will off the table. And unfortunately, the same thing is true for using creatures with lifelink. You may decide the risk is just simply worth the reward, and fortunately, white and blue can help you mitigate it, since you'll have access to counter magic and terrific protection spells. The only thing left to do is find some expensive white and blue spells to cast, which isn't too hard. Will complements any life gain strategy nicely, and any deck he leads should be able to function without him in play. This is an exciting and powerful design, and I think it easily earns an A. And there you have it, our penultimate batch of 5 mythic rares from the Wilds of Eldraine. Are my grades of noble descent, or should I just go back to toiling in the fields? Let me know what you think. I hope I earned a like and subscribe from you, and I'd love it if you'd share this video. If not, thanks for listening this long anyways. You can follow me on X at UnsolicitedMTG for channel updates, like when my next batch of grades are fresh out of the oven. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Gabe from Unsolicited Designs, and who asked me anyways?